A handful of corporations dominate intellectual property, stifling creativity and expanding their monopolies. Knowledge and the ability to control that knowledge is power. As an artist, I'm like an ant pissing on the leg of a god. But thanks to the legal framework of things like Creative Commons, I can release my art for free use, advocating against the harm that copyright causes. To artists, to society, to education, to humanity, while striving for better and freer laws. Each artwork is like a spark. Now you can use that spark to warm yourself for a little while, or you can use it to make your own flame.
So let's try counting the number of obvious blunders.
I think I will throw on a dress. More ladylike, don't you think so?
But naturally, the guests give no indication of having noticed any error on Bob's part, since that in itself would be impolite.
Your father admires him very much. So do I. I mean, I've practically thrown myself at him, trying to make his stay pleasant. But does he like to dance or go...
What was she thinking of when she said, I do? A roommate to help with the dishes? What does a man work for? Beating his brains out to make something out of himself if his wife doesn't look up to him. Instead, she competes with me and makes a half man out of me and a half woman out of herself.
He just wants to talk about logarithms, mental stresses, heat exchanges, I don't know what all. Does he like to dance? No. Or the movies? No. No.
3 out of 4 new household products just don't sell. Or to put it another way, the women of America won't buy 3 out of every 4 new products offered to them for their homes because they aren't what women want. That's the basic problem.
Do you like to dance? No. Or the movies? No. No.
What women want.
You were listening. You seldom do. It's a habit of yours.
That's the basic problem. Women.
Do you like to dance? No. Or the movies? No. No.
You were embarrassed by your messy hair and the fingernails you had neglected to clean. You worried about the spots on your sweater, Barbara. But what really showed up were your habits.
Makes a half man out of me and a half woman out of herself.
No. 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 No.
That's the basic problem.
Our idea of success is if somebody comes into the show that has never been to a punk show before and has real close attitudes about what they're going to expect and walks out with their minds open a bit and maybe thinking a little bit more about what's going on in the world and still had a good time, that's success as far as that's, we've been successful that night there.
The original spirit of rock and roll was just people, it was meant as a form of attack, really. I don't think any art is legitimate unless it attacks people.
You don't want people coming down to make trouble, basically. And we are pretty anti-violent. I suggest you come down for yourself and find out. I'd like to see you up front.
justice? Are you more concerned about the protection of a painting or the protection of our planet and people? Millions of people are dying in monsoons, wildfires and severe drought. We cannot afford new oil and gas.
Once upon a time, Glastonbury was all about the hot new bands and celebrating the icons of the past, but nowadays it's just hardcore, left-wing, pro-Palestinian propaganda.
But that is not the real story here. The real story is that there is a genocide going on in Gaza and a systematic starvation following the siege and blockade now.
In a new wave of Israeli airstrikes in Gaza, a hospital was among the sites hit by missiles. Homes and a refugee camp were also targeted, with the IDF claiming it was at least 80 Palestinians have died.
Which is leading to food, medicine, water that are desperately needed to get into Gaza is prevented from doing so.
Commentators are pointing out, and I agree, just how sick and disgustingly woke Britain has become.
And we cannot accept just witnessing all this and doing nothing. That can never be an option.
I'm a human being.
Yes, you are. So are they.
So I do not think about this.
You're thinking about tribalism, thinking of your own people to the exclusion. It would be understandable to think of your own people or your own children first, but to think about other people, other children, not at all, that seems sociopathic.
I can...
Doesn't it?
No, not at all. This is normal.
It is sick. But then again, is it really all that surprising that gullible and impressionable young people have bought into this narrative when the media and academia and many parents have fated such role models?
22-year-old Yusuf Haswa doesn't know if he'll ever get his degree.
When the media and academia
coins itself as the free speech university, but you won't get your degree if you speak up or use said speech.
It's not relationship of neighbors.
Why not?
Because we are two different nations.
How dare you? Ah, yes, Greta Thunberg again. First it was climate change, then it was Gaza. Now she's back on the rainbow bandwagon.
I just wonder whether you feel or you're aware that, they're really suffering.
Basically, he said that, he said he was reacting to what has been said about Israel capturing you. He said, that this is not, they've not been kidnapped, so Israel doesn't need that right now. And he said, Greta Thunberg is, I quote, a young, angry woman. She needs anger management sessions.
Well, I think the world needs a lot of more young, angry women, to be honest.
simply tear down the society in which they live. And they have very little in common with one another, because all the causes are one. The omni-causes finally come together. And that omni-cause is just the scavenger mentality. It's all the people, from the Jean-Paul Sartre hatred of Western civilization left to the queer pride left, who have decided that they are going to band together to destroy the civilization that we all share. To destroy the civilization. And that omni-cause is just to destroy the civilization. To destroy the civilization.
But these children are vulnerable. And some people are trying to manipulate you at the expense of children who are different. It's not from pride or the queer agenda we have to protect the kids. We have to protect the kids from fascism.